ASEAN and Beijing agreed to avoid conflict in South China Sea. More digital investment expected in 2025 as Malaysia chairs ASEAN. Good evening and salam Malaysia Madani. You're watching Malaysia Tonight. I'm SAHIH. Moving on, Laos officially handed over the ASEAN Chairmanship to Malaysia today in Vientiane, marking the conclusion of the 44th and 45th ASEAN summits and related meetings. The closing ceremony represented the symbolic transfer of leadership for the regional bloc, setting the stage for Malaysia's stewardship in 2025. In his closing address, Laos Prime Minister Sonexay Siphandone expressed gratitude to the delegates for their cooperation and support throughout Laos' chairmanship before formally passing the ASEAN baton to Malaysia. Taking the rostrum, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim reaffirmed Malaysia's commitment to upholding ASEAN's core values and priorities, emphasising that under its chairmanship, the bloc will remain steadfast in maintaining Southeast Asia as a peaceful, stable and prosperous region.
Malaysia has chosen the theme inclusivity and sustainability. It reflects our aspirations for truly shared progress, ensuring that no one is left behind. It conveys our hope that the steps we take today will endure in the long run. It underscores our determination to keep the future firmly in sight as we move forward.
The handover ceremony concluded with a short video presentation celebrating ASEAN's rich heritage and diversity, setting a hopeful tone for the upcoming chapter under Malaysia's chairmanship. A short video was played on the screen depicting the rich heritage and diversity of ASEAN before the event concluded with his warm, friendly greeting, Selamat datang ke Malaysia.
Welcome to Malaysia.
ASEAN and Beijing have reached an agreement to avoid disputes in the South China Sea. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim stated that China and all the member countries of the regional bloc have also agreed to use diplomatic channels and negotiations to resolve disputes in those waters during the 44th and 45th ASEAN summits and related summits.
Saya cadangkan kalau boleh guna jalur ASEAN bersama. Tentunya sedikit perkembangan di Filipina itu membimbangkan dan kita telah sampaikan ada jaminan daripada Premier Li Qiang bahawa hal ini akan diurus secara damai mengikut semangat UNCLOS 1982.
Malaysia has welcomed the proposed $14.7 billion investment by United States technology giants Google, Microsoft, Avovix Corporations, Amazon Web Services, Abbott Laboratories and Boeing. The matter was conveyed by Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim during his bilateral meeting with the US Secretary of State Antony Blinken on the sidelines of the 44th and 45th ASEAN summits and related summits in Vientiane. According to Datuk Seri Anwar, Malaysia also looks forward to strengthening cooperation with the US in emerging industries. On another note, the Prime Minister welcomed the US delegation to the next senior officials dialogue in Putrajaya end of October as the two countries celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Malaysia-US Comprehensive Partnership. He said Malaysia appreciates the US leading role in the United Nations Security Council UNSC Resolution 2735 and urges the US to use its influence to swiftly implement the resolution. Resolution 2728, which was passed on 10th June, called for an immediate ceasefire of all hostilities in Gaza. The government expects more digital investments to flow into Malaysia in 2025. Digital Minister Gobind Singh Deo said that as Malaysia chairs ASEAN in 2025, the country is well positioned to present itself as a destination for digital investments in the region.
There are currently discussions that are ongoing with many other companies, And I anticipate that moving ahead, in the next year, we will see more investments, and that again augurs very well for the country. We are focused on rebuilding our economy. There is a lot of potential, particularly with us chairing ASEAN next year, and I think Malaysia is very well positioned, in this region to present itself as a destination for investments.
Gobind said the government is certain more investment announcement would be made after a series of new investments in the last 8 months. Earlier, Malaysia welcomed the proposed $14.7 billion investment by United States technology giant such as Google, Microsoft, Enovix Corporation, Amazon Web Services, Abbott Laboratories and Boeing. Meanwhile, Gobind said the ministry is also looking forward to cooperating with the Ministry of Education to ensure AI awareness among students in the country. Thailand's Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra reaffirmed the kingdom's commitment to enhancing regional cooperation across key sectors, positioning Thailand as a key player in the region's economic and security landscape. Thai government spokesperson Jirayu Hongsap said the 38-year-old Prime Minister, elected in August, made a significant debut at the 44th and 45th ASEAN summits in Laos, reaffirming Thailand's diplomatic presence. During the summit, he said the Prime Minister attended 10 high-level meetings aimed at bolstering Thailand's global presence. He added that the highlight of the summit was the announcement made during the Paetongtarn's meeting with Chinese Premier Li Qiang, where the year 2025 will be designated as the Golden Year of Friendship to mark the 50th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Thailand and China, a sign of the growing importance of these bilateral ties. He emphasized that Paetongtarn also had bilateral meetings with key global leaders, including the founder of the World Economic Forum, WEF, Klaus Schwab, who invited her to the 2025 WEF annual meeting in Davos to showcase Thailand's economic potential. Additionally, Jirayu said Paetongtarn met with Malaysian Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, who endorsed Thailand's 6 countries, one destination initiative to stimulate regional tourism and the southern border economy. Indonesian Vice President Ma'ruf Amin pushed for stronger cooperation between the ASEAN and Australia through the effective implementation of various bilateral economic agreements at the 4th ASEAN-Australia Summit recently. Foreign Affairs Minister Retno Marsudi remarked that the Southeast Asia Economic Strategy to 2040 is a step by Australia to make Southeast Asia as one of the priorities for strengthening economic cooperation until 2040. In addition, she affirmed that the ASEAN continues to encourage strengthening cooperation with Australia in the fields of education and culture and increasing people-to-people contacts, including by optimizing the ASEAN-Australia Centre. Amin also expressed hope that Australia would remain committed to avoiding defence policies that trigger an arms race and tension in the region. Marsudi remarked that efforts to maintain peace and stability in the region are one of the important messages conveyed by Vice President Amin at various meetings during the ASEAN Summit, including meetings with ASEAN partner countries. She highlighted that from 2024 to 2027, Indonesia will serve as coordinator for the ASEAN-Australia Partnership after holding the role of a coordinator for the ASEAN-US Partnership until 2023. Global rate cards indicate easing, Bank Negara to prioritise domestic factors, that and more coming up in our business teaser. Science, technology, engineering and mathematics STEM education is an impetus to prepare Malaysia's future generations to adapt to the rapid technological advancement of the digital creative industry, according to Deputy Communications Minister Teo Ni Cheng. She said efforts to pave the way for the youth to excel in the digital creative industry were needed as the industry's market size was projected to reach $687.4 billion by 2027, with a compound annual growth rate of 9.97% between 2020 and 2027. Teo also noted that subsectors within the creative technology industry were also thriving, an example of which is the global animation market size that was foreseen to increase to over $587 billion by the year 2030.
Saya rasa untuk kita terus mengembang industri ini, we need more talent. We need more talent dan kita lah perlulah memupuk ataupun kita perlu generasi muda kita rasa bahawa STEM bukan subjek yang sangat-sangat susah untuk mereka, tetapi kita nak mereka rasa bahawa actually STEM is a subject that is a fun subject that actually can suit their interest as well. Jadi bagaimana kita produce lebih banyak skill worker in term untuk industri ini juga sangat-sangat penting.
She said this when officiating the Cyberjaya Digital Creative Circuit 2024 today. It was held as a platform to converge digital creativity and technological innovation among the industry players within the Cyberjaya dynamic ecosystem. During the event, Teo also witnessed a memorandum of understanding exchange between Animonster Studio Sdn Bhd and Cyberview Sdn Bhd, Cyberview, as well as a letter of intent exchange between Todak Holdings Sdn Bhd and Cyberview. Malaysia Tonight on TV1 ends here to give way to the 64th International Quran Recitation and Memorization Assembly. Our bulletin resumes on MyTV's Berita RTM channel. We'll be right back. Efforts to transform Malacca into a digital state are gaining momentum with a goal of engaging 1,500 traders and industry players in the Cashless Malacca or Malaccaku Tanpa Tunai initiative. Chief Minister Datuk Seri Abdul Rauf Yusof said response to the cashless transaction initiative has been highly encouraging thus far and plans are in place to extend participation to small traders and night markets throughout the state.
Pastinya kita mensasarkan lebih pada 50% pihak-pihak ahli-ahli perniagaan dalam Melaka ini menggunakan program cashless, termasuk pasar-pasar malam, agensi kerajaan dan segala urusan berkaitan kerajaan akan diperkenalkan secara cashless.
He said this to reporters after officiating the Smart Malacca International Conference and Exhibition SMIX 2024 today. In addition, he said Malacca is set to evolve into a sophisticated and smart world heritage city, which is a key mission of the current state government. To support this transformation, Datuk Seri Abdul Rauf said various digital initiatives have been launched, including the Digital Village, Smart Parking Malacca and several other innovative products that are in the pipeline. Moving on, Malaysia's Industrial Production Index or IPI rose by 4.1% in August 2024, driven by moderate manufacturing growth. According to the Department of Statistics Malaysia or DOSM's Chief Statistician Datuk Seri Dr. Muhammad Uzir Mahidin, the IPI growth slowed from 5.3% in July, with manufacturing output expanding by 6.5%. Electricity output, meanwhile, grew by 4.1%, down from 7.0% in July, while mining continued to decline, dropping 6.4% in August. Month-on-month, the IPI rebounded to 1.7%, reversing a 1.5% decline in July. Manufacturing growth was supported by export-oriented sectors, which grew by 6.3%, and key contributors included vegetable and animal oils with a 22.6% increase and rubber products at 11.1%. Export-oriented industries improved by 3.0% month-on-month in August from a 3.3% decline in July, while domestic-oriented industries rose 7.1%, slightly down from 7.5%. Performance was bolstered by the growth in fabricated metal products 10.3% and motor vehicles 7.7%. Elsewhere, the IPI for countries like Singapore, the US and Taiwan showed higher growth in August, while China, South Korea and Vietnam's growth slowed. On another note, Datuk Seri Dr. Mohamed Uzir said Malaysia's wholesale and retail trade sector registered a 4.7% year-on-year YOY growth with total sales of 149.2 billion ringgit in August 2024. He said the growth was primarily driven by the retail trade subsector, which increased 5.9% to 64.1 billion ringgit. The motor vehicle subsector expanded by 4.1% to 18.9 billion ringgit, while wholesale trade grew by 3.7% to 66.2 billion ringgit. Datuk Seri Dr. Mohamed Uzir noted that the retail sales in non-specialised stores led the retail trade subsector by contributing 24.8 billion ringgit with a strong 7.8% YOY rise and a 1.4% MOM growth. Meanwhile, retail sales of automotive fuel sales saw steady progress, growing 5.3% year-on-year and 0.6% month-on-month to reach 6.0 billion ringgit. According to Mohamed Uzir, the index of retail sales over the internet grew 6.5% year-on-year in August 2024 as compared to 5.7% in July 2024. For seasonally adjusted value, the index rose 4.7% as against the previous month, he said. After netting out the effect of price changes, the volume index of wholesale and retail trade for August 2024 registered a year-on-year growth of 3.8%. Efforts to prepare graduates who are more competent and competitive in the fields of finance and investments are being intensified. Recently, University Malaysia Terengganu UMT established the first trading centre in the East Coast as one of the university's initiatives to provide students with real-world trading experiences. The establishment of UMT CGS East Coast Trading Centre is a collaboration with CGS International Securities Malaysia Sdn Bhd, aims to enhance education related to finance, investment and banking in line with the needs of the 4.0 industrial revolution. According to UMT Vice Chancellor, Professor Technologist Dr. Muhammad Zamri Ibrahim, students will be trained using the latest technology in the global financial market.
Dengan adanya makmal ini, kami jangka dalam tempoh 3 hingga 5 tahun akan datang, kita akan dapat mengeluarkan ataupun menghasilkan graduan yang mempunyai kemahiran yang berkaitan dengan ilmu-ilmu saham, pelaburan dan sebagainya ini bagi menampung ataupun bagi menyumbang kepada ekonomi negara lah.
This initiative will benefit over 3,000 students from the Faculty of Business, Economics and Social Development at the institution and will also be open to members of the public who are interested. The Electric Vehicle and Battery Management or EVBM guidelines will ensure public safety and the sustainability of the EV ecosystem in Malaysia. Through this, productivity can be enhanced by prioritizing the safe handling and disposal of EV batteries. The introduction of the guidelines by the Malaysian Productivity Corporation MPC was launched by the Secretary General of the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry, Dato' Hairul Yahri Yaakob. Northport Malaysia Berhad will lead the implementation of the guidelines in collaboration with businesses and regulators in the EV ecosystem.
So this is why the guidelines is very, very important. We are happy that all the relevant agencies, the ministries, and also the private sector got together, worked together, and came up with something that is going to be a living document. Every 6 months we're going to review it and come up with always areas of improvement, especially with regards to procedures, safety of processes and so on and so forth.
Additionally, the guidelines will be facilitated by MPC with support from the Malaysian Automotive, Robotics and IoT Institute, MARI. He stated this after the launch of the EVBM guidelines at the federal capital. An economic analyst said that rate cuts in several countries worldwide reflect a global shift in monetary policy towards easing, driven by differing domestic economic conditions. Muhammad Siddiq Jantan, the head of investment research at UOB Kay Hian Wealth Advisors, highlighted Malaysia's approach may differ as Bank Negara Malaysia, BNM, is likely to focus on domestic fundamentals rather than merely following global trends. Elaborating further on the matter, he said while other central banks are reducing rates, BNM is expected to take a more measured approach and is anticipated that BNM will maintain its key interest rate at 3.0% throughout 2025. This expectation is supported by Malaysia's headline inflation, with the Consumer Price Index CPI moderating to 1.9% in August 2024, alongside robust gross domestic product GDP growth. He noted that while inflation is well contained, Malaysia's broader economic strategy must account for external factors like currency volatility and potential global demand shifts. Muhammad Siddiq added that adjustments to BNM's monetary policy will likely involve interest rates and wider macroeconomic measures to ensure price stability, support investor confidence, and safeguard long-term economic resilience. Competitive and relevant growth encompasses a company's support ecosystem, a part of access to funds, close collaboration with industry players who understand the market is also essential. Ahead of 2025 budget, the local startup company Yakin is strategically collaborating with industry experts, going beyond mere financing aspects. Access to market knowledge, a cost-free investor matching system, and closer engagement with industry players are among the aspects of this strategic collaboration.
Kerajaan dah banyak bagi grant untuk bantu syarikat-syarikat yang dalam fasa untuk nak understand market. Sebab macam kita orang mungkin dalam fasa selepas dah understand market. Sekarang ni untuk growth. Iaitu contohnya kalau kita dapat partnerkan dengan VC yang berada di Philippines, right? So dia ada access kepada market tu.
The government is also urged to engage more frequently with industry players. This is important for understanding their challenges and needs, as well as collecting more accurate data. Thus, strengthen the relationship and cooperation between the government and the private sector.
Kita perlu investor yang betul-betul boleh ada strategic alignment dengan company. Bukan saja untuk jangka panjang, tapi juga untuk make sure kita in the right direction. Setengah-setengah investors dia tengok hanya kepada segi growth, keuntungan. Tapi macam Kidokan sendiri, kita perlukan investor yang ada mindset of growth, tapi ada mindset of impact.
Mewujudkan ekosistem one-stop center pada startup ini di setiap negeri maupun daerah-daerah yang besar. Klinik startup ini memberi pelbagai khidmat nasihat dalam konteks mudah cara dan panduan kepada syarikat penteroka ini, startup, ke mana mereka patut dapatkan bantuan tertentu.
Coming up, more than 100 healthcare facility projects underway nationwide. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Fadilah Yusof highlighted a total of 154 healthcare facility projects nationwide under the 9th Malaysia Plan 9MP through the 12th MP have been or are currently being implemented, involving a cost of 14.69 billion ringgit. Of the total, he said 111 projects fall under 9MP through 11MP, while 43 projects are part of the 12MP. All projects under the supervision of the Public Works Department, JKR, cover 3 stages: post-completion, under construction and pre-construction. For this year alone, 13 public health facility projects have been successfully completed. In Kelantan, there are 21 projects at the planning, construction and completed stages carried out during the 10th to 12th Malaysia plans. He said this at the handover ceremony of the completed Bachok Hospital project today. Also present was Kelantan Menteri Besar Dato' Muhammad Nasruddin Daud. The hospital, which involves a cost of 71.3 million ringgit, was previously reported to be stalled. It was built on an area of 20.3 hectares since the year 2017 and is expected to begin operations next month. Meanwhile, the Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Fadilah Yusof pledged flood mitigation project in Kelantan remain a priority for the federal government. He emphasised the government would ensure the project is completed as planned. According to him, the government is currently seeking solutions to the issues arising in the implementation of the project, particularly concerning the contractors. In addition to discussions with the state government, the project is still in the construction phase. Previously, the Prime Minister, Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, announced that the flood mitigation projects and clean water supply plans in Kelantan need to be expedited for the benefit of the people, despite the relatively high costs involved. Internet service providers should offer cheap packages with higher speed to Malaysians in the future. In urging this, Communications Minister Fahmi Fadil said, based on his observation through the implementation of the Point of Presence POP program, he found that service providers could offer packages for as low as RM39 per month for 100 megabyte per second speed.
Saya lihat bila kita usahakan melalui projek jendela bawah MCMC ataupun projek Point of Presence melalui Kementerian Komunikasi, wajar penyedia perkhidmatan memberikan harga yang lebih murah kepada rakyat. Program-program ini bukan komersial semata-mata, tapi ada objektif yang lebih strategik, iaitu mengurangkan jurang, bukan hanya secara fizikal, membolehkan kawasan-kawasan ini menikmati internet yang lebih laju, tapi juga dari segi ekonominya.
The POP project aims to close the digital gap in rural areas by using schools as a hub for the provision of fibre optic broadband infrastructure, thus enabling schools, government premises and surrounding housing areas to have access to high-speed broadband services. Earlier, Fahmi and Defence Minister Datuk Seri Muhammad Khalid Nordin attended the launch of the Prajurit Broadband Initiative and the exchange of the MOU between the Communications Ministry and the Defence Ministry. The MOU was signed by the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission's MCMC and the Malaysian Armed Forces ATM, forging a strategic partnership to improve broadband coverage through the construction of fibre optic infrastructure at 73 military camps nationwide. According to Fahmi, the Fibre to the Home initiative, involving an allocation of 99 million ringgit, aims to provide a significant impact in facilitating daily tasks, including education, communication and enhancing the living conditions of military families. To ensure the smooth implementation of the project, Fahmi said a monitoring committee comprising ATM, MCMC, as well as network facility and service providers will be established to oversee the implementation. That concludes this evening's Malaysia Tonight. In our top story, ASEAN and Beijing agree to avoid conflict in South China Sea. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. I'm SAHIH. Thank you for watching.